Oh man, we're trying too hard. Welcome back to the channel. Tiny house tour video. It's finally here. We cleaned this place up. Let's talk about what we're living in and what we've done to kind of create a more ideal space while our house is being built. So the basics of this is an 8 by 32 tiny house. So that is 256 square feet if you're not good at math, but it's obviously not that full space because we have things in here. So we're looking at about 200 square feet. Now the big question that everybody's always going to ask is how much did it cost to build? How long did it take you to build it? We came in at just under $20,000. My dad and I built the whole thing ourselves in less than 30 working days. So he was working full time, I was working full time. We just built this thing on our days off and it was less than 30 days. So we made it happen. But we'll give you the general tour here. It's only going to take a couple minutes because it's not that big. And then I will take you outside, just show you some of the things outside. And then Jamie will talk about the storage and some of the things that she bought to make it a little bit more homey in here. So I will start outside the door here. So we built a little set of stairs here, just a basic door. We have vinyl siding on this metal roof. So you come in and immediately to the side is our bed. Now we decided to loft to this. This is a king size bed, so it spans the whole width here. And we did this primarily because we have two dogs. So they are under here. We got a little baby gate because B is a puppy still. She's not even a year old, so we needed to contain her in there while we're gone so she doesn't destroy everything. Sam doesn't like being in there, but for the video we're going to keep him in there. But the bed being up here is nice because it allows us to store the dogs under here, but then also all of our clothes. So I'll let Jamie talk about that later. But we do have a window over here. All the windows, if I remember correctly, are like 30 or 32 inches wide. We got everything at Lowe's and Home Depot for this project, so nothing fancy, but this whole platform spans all the way across, and then we just have a plywood divider in the middle so that all of the dog nastiness doesn't affect our clothing and storage that we have down here. We have a couple of, you'll see these throughout, these little puck LED lights here. So that is for mainly at night when we don't want to wake the baby up. We can use those and it's not super bright in here. But we've been living in here since the end of
beginning of November.
Yeah, beginning of November. Right at the end of October we moved it over here. But we have all of the amenities. We have a little TV, the gaming console, so we're close enough. Luckily our buddy allowed us to squat on his property, so we are kind of close enough to get Wi-Fi reception, all that kind of stuff. But enough about that. That is the come in right to the left, the bed. We use either this ottoman or we have this little step stool here, and that is what we use to get up on there. It's super easy. Jamie was doing it while she was 9 months pregnant without any issue. So right next to the bed, little desk with our computer. We have to edit these videos somehow, so we do it right here. And we've got our hamper for all of our dirty laundry, and then the dog bowls and the water, because I mentioned we have a cat in here as well. So we have 3 animals, 2 adults, and a newborn baby in here. We're a little crazy. Let's see. Heating and air in here was very important. Obviously, we need to control the temperature the best that we can because we have a newborn in here. And we went with a Mr. Cool DIY mini split. So everything in here runs off of 110 power. So no big voltage or anything like that. This is an awesome unit. Heat, air, or fan mode. Everything I can control from my phone. It's super easy. And we've been very, very happy with that unit. So moving along here, Jamie has her little rocker chair in here. We decided to keep everything pretty open in here so that we can move things around. And we could have just bought an RV, but with the newborn baby, we wanted to be able to have some of these nicer things in here so Jamie felt more comfortable. So she's got that rocker in here. And then, of course, I built a crib. If you've followed me on Instagram, you saw me doing a little bit of this, but this is a full-size crib, so that fits in here. It takes up a lot of space, but it's nice to be able to have this, and I'll let Jamie talk about that some more. This is our pantry. It's all open shelving. That way we can maximize space, and cost was a big factor too, right? We didn't want to be dropping $100,000 on this build. This is a temporary living situation for us, so we just store everything in these open shelves. It works pretty good. Nothing crazy with the organization or anything like that. Then we have one of these mini fridges. It's not super small, but it's obviously not a full-size fridge, but it works well. I mean, the freezer is pretty good size there. Refrigerator holds everything that we need in there. We haven't had any issues with running out of room for food and that kind of stuff. So this fridge works pretty good, and it was pretty affordable as well. I'll try to link everything I can below in the description. We bought most of the stuff off Amazon if we didn't get it from Lowe's or Home Depot, so I'll leave it down there for you. Then our main counter space here, we've got a sink. I want to say this is a 27 inch sink, I believe, but then we use this part of the counter for Emilu's changing station. We can move that off of here, and we have in these drawers we have an electric cooktop that actually works pretty well. So we just pull that up onto the counter, plug it in to cook, and it does everything we need to. We have a convection oven toaster air fryer combo right here. That works well. So anything that we can't handle on the electric cooktop or the pit boss outside, we have the smoker, the pellet grill outside. So if we can't do it in either of those, we'll do it in that. It works really well. So as far as cabinets here, we got these drawers for free. So that worked out well. That's the perk of having a dad in the construction industry. So he was able to score these for us. 3 big drawers. We have all of our silverware and everything in here.
Soft close.
We have, yeah, they're all soft close drawers, which works really well, and they're huge, so we just store everything in there. Trash can down underneath here. It's out of the way. This is all open. We just did that because cost-wise, it's easier to gain access to all the plumbing, all that kind of stuff, and it's right there. It's just kind of extra paper towels, toilet paper, cleaning supplies, animal supplies like their brushes, that kind of stuff, all goes right there. Also, all of the shelving, just open shelving. We went with the little pipe brackets here, and then just a 1x8. So super easy there. Those are also from Amazon, so I will link those. But we have a window here right above the sink. Then we have another window there. So what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 windows total in here. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything here. We have coffee. I mean, we have all of the normal things in here. It's just small, so we didn't want to compromise too much. We didn't want to feel like we were camping, but we also didn't need to go all out and spend a gazillion dollars to make this happen. So right here is our our cleaning supplies here. So we've got a broom, a small little vacuum. This step stool allows us to get up into that storage area here and that storage area up there. So instead of doing a lofted bed, like the fully lofted, like how you see in most tiny houses where, you know, the bed is on like kind of a second floor, I didn't want to be climbing up into it, and Jamie sure as heck didn't want to be climbing up into it when she was 9 months pregnant. So we did that, but we didn't want to waste all that space. So that is a 4 by 8 foot section of storage up there. It's not a full, it can't hold a ton of stuff because of the peak of the roof, obviously, but it holds enough. Holds some of the extra baby stuff, some extra shoes, and then this one is 8 by 4 because this is the bathroom right back here, and the purpose of this one is a litter box. So I hate having the cat in here, but it is what it is. So we needed the litter box out of the way so that the dogs didn't mess with it, and so that it wasn't a mess. It works well. It doesn't smell. We got one of those little mats. It keeps it all up there. We can clean it. We vacuum it up there. But then we keep like a dry Swiffer and a wet Swiffer up there. We can bring it down when we need to clean, and it works well.
Show them how she gets up there.
Yeah. And this shelf right here, the only purpose that serves is for the cat to get up into the litter box. So she usually does a whole little obstacle course, jumps up onto the chair, goes along the side of the crib, up onto the counter, up onto this. If this isn't here, she can't get up. She goes onto this, then she goes up onto the fridge, then to that, and then up there. It works. Then we go into the bathroom here. So the bathroom is 4 by 8. Let me just be easier. Little vanity. This is our composting toilet. If you want to know more about that, you can look up that model right there. It works well. We were both, well, Jamie was more worried about it than I was, but I mean, it's like using a bucket, and it works. It doesn't smell. Super easy to clean. Works for us, and you don't have to hook up to a septic or anything like that. Our shower, nice little fixture there. Pretty big shower. It's a, I believe it's 4. I want to say it's a 4 by 4 pan or 4 by 3. It's pretty big. It feels bigger than a typical shower, but you know, the vanity holds all of our medicine and that kind of stuff, and then we have the nice barn door. Emilu's bath hangs up in the shower. Yeah, barn door works well. No hardware there. That's our panel for all of our electric stuff. So me and my dad did everything on this as far as electrical, plumbing. We did it all. So everything, like I said when I mentioned the AC unit, it's all 110 volts. We have a 30 amp service running here, which is very typical for RVs or boats, so stuff like that. So that's all it is. I wired that panel. It's super easy. We have a few different circuits. We have one that goes outside first to a GF or GCFI breaker, and then it comes back into the house and it runs the outlets along this wall. So we have 1, 2, 3 outlets along this wall with the kitchen, and then we have another breaker that just controls all the lights. We have all these recessed little can lights in there. They're super bright. I'll take a little video when it gets darker tonight just to show you the lights, and then show you the little LED puck lights, because you can see we have some more of them here on these little columns. But then we have another circuit to run the refrigerator, and these outlets along this wall. We have an outlet behind the fridge, one right here by the crib, and then one up in the bed, so that we can have like phone chargers and that kind of stuff. Then another circuit controls the mini split unit itself, and I think that was it. I think we have 5. I think that was 5. So very, very simple electric stuff. I was able to figure it out after some searching on the internet, and it works the way it's supposed to. So that's kind of the overview of the inside. I will go outside real quick, talk about the mainly the water heater, and then come back in. Jamie can talk about how we manage in here with storage and baby stuff. So let me get outside. So I hope it's not too windy out here. If it is, I apologize, but Water hookup, we just use a hose. So it goes right to the well on the property that we're staying, and it feeds right in. All of this crazy stuff that's on it is actually, we're just getting into warmer weather now. We went through the whole winter. We never had lines freeze or anything like that. That's because we had this heated wire line running with the hose, and then I just insulated it with some of that piping that you get from Lowe's or Home Depot. Now, hot water, we use this little on-demand hot water heater here. It's actually battery powered, so a couple batteries go in here, and when you want hot water, it turns on. When you turn it off, it turns off, and it just runs on propane. So we use the little 20 pound or 20 gallon, I don't know, those are the propane tanks we use. The standard ones you hook up to a grill. They last usually about 3 weeks, and then we just swap it out. So it works pretty well. That's just like a camping one. You could technically just like hook that up on a tree and hook a little hose into it and use hot water. So we got that off Amazon. It works extremely well. This is the vent from our composting toilet. So there's a fan that runs 24/7 in there, and it just blows any odor out. So nothing smells inside. It doesn't smell right here either. But then this is the all the piping is underneath the house. We thought we might have issues with that, with it being cold and it freezing, but it didn't. So the P-trap is actually right there, so no bugs or gas can get back in. It works well. And then this is the second part of our composting toilet where the liquids come out. Super easy. I think that's about it for the outside. I'll show you the condensing unit for the mini split. As you can see, it's just white vinyl siding. We got a black metal roof up top. Keeps us dry, and is pretty affordable and easy to install. But this is the condenser for the mini split. It's so quiet, it's insane. So the bed is right here, and we can't hear that condensing unit. So it's awesome. Very happy with that that product, and relatively inexpensive, but does what we need it to do. So I can tell it's a little windy. I'm gonna go back inside. So I would say that one of the big questions, so we do not have a washer or dryer in here, and the reason for that is that my parents aren't too far away, so we'll just take our dirty laundry over there when we need to and get it done. Oh my goodness. But they're like $1,300, so that was $1,300 we saved. But we were going to put it under here somewhere, because we were thinking about it, but we decided we didn't need it. So we do not have a washer and dryer in here, and we don't have a dishwasher either. Oh, what's the matter? So we don't have a dishwasher either. We just do everything by hand, and it takes like 2 minutes because we have like 2 dishes, and we use paper plates and paper cups, that kind of stuff. So yeah, the storage stuff is the big thing, so I will let Jamie talk about that.
Obviously, we didn't want to be storing our clothes up there because then it would be a pain in the butt to have to get up and down multiple times a day. So we wanted to utilize this space for that. So on Amazon, I found these nice drawers which easily roll in and out. We have one for Joey, one for Emmylou, and one for myself. Got 3 small drawers on the top, 2 large ones on the bottom. And if we need a little bit of extra space, we'll put baskets, or I found some plastic bins at Target that I just kind of command strip to the top, so as we pull in and out, they don't fall off everywhere. And then we have, these drawers are short enough that there's a decent amount of space still back behind there, so any clothes that we're not wearing as often, or there's some extra baby things that we're storing back behind there. And it's worked out really well.
And just a note, the bed is 32 inches. So from the floor to here is 32. So that allowed us, we actually went with that height because one, a washer dryer combo, most of them are 30, so that would fit under there. But when we first got here, B was still in her dog crate, and that was also, I think that was like 28 or 29 inches tall. So originally that was under there. But we needed more space because Sam's dog bed was out here and it was taking up too much. So now we have both dog beds under there. B's no longer in a crate, hence the baby gate. So yeah, these work pretty well. We each have one. It holds all my police gear as well. So I don't have a separate thing for it. It holds all my gear up top. My uniforms, regular clothes, everything fits in those 5 drawers. It's easy when you're like me and you wear t-shirts every day, so it works. But you could store more up there if you needed to, but we're pretty simple and we don't really need it. And she wears scrubs for work, so it's super easy. You want to talk about baby stuff?
Yeah, so obviously I had some apprehension about going from a regular house to a tiny house in general, but then with a newborn baby, being first time mom, I had even more anxiety about not having a nursery space and what's that going to look like, what our day's going to look like. So, but I feel like we've done a pretty good job of, you know, maximizing the space that we have and using multifunctional, you know, the space in a multifunctional way whenever we can. So this is like my little nursing station right here. So we have a glider, the ottoman we can pull over for, you know, for comfort, for having my feet up, and there's also a ton of storage in the ottoman too, so there's a ton of extra baby things in there.
And we have baby things in here.
Yeah. So this is usually where I nurse, and or we just kind of have some nice cuddle time here, so that's good. And then the crib, which is beautiful, and we, you know, we use that for sleep at night, but then during the day, it kind of can transform into an area for playtime, an area for tummy time. We'll bring the play mat out, bring toys, and then all of that can go back into the ottoman or wherever it's stored for safe sleep at night. Also utilizing the floor whenever we can, putting the play mat out there. We'll spend some time down there, and that's worked out well. I have over here next to her changing pad this little rolling cart, which has diaper things, breastfeeding things, a la Carrie Locker on Instagram. New moms, if you're not following her, you should be, because she has great ideas like this one, which work well for any new mom, but especially in the tiny house, because this just fits everything I need, and I can have it here close to the changing table, or I can pull it over to the glider when I'm nursing, and just has everything in one spot, so I'm not scrambling around.
And sorry about the chickens. They followed us here, and they're actually right there. So they're in the backyard right now of our good friend's backyard. So we're trying to work on getting them grass. So that's why they're in there. But they have been. What's this for? They've been out and about on this grass, but there's no grass in the backyard. So we're working on that. I guess another big thing that you guys probably are wondering is, where do we eat? Because we don't have tables. Well, most of the time, Jamie gets about 2 seconds to eat, because Emmy Lou knows every time she's about to eat and she starts crying or is needing attention. So Jamie usually just eats standing up, and I happen to do that a lot as well. But we do have this can fit 2 people, so we can sit there. We can sit on the ottoman. We can use our hamper, pull that out, use that as a tabletop.
Use the desk
Yeah,
space.
yeah. Sometimes we use the desk. I mean, to be honest, it's very clean in here right now. I mean, we have crap all over the place because we're normal human beings, so that's just what we do. But we have a couple of those like TV dinner tray things as well, and we'll just eat up here. So we put them on the trays. Everything stays flat. We don't spill it, so we do use those as well. But it's not a big deal. But when we do go to a friend's house or my parents' house and we get to like sit at a table or on a couch, it's nice. So if we didn't have things like, you know, the crib, the glider, that obviously we would have put in a table, but space is limited and we make it work. Can you think of anything else that we trying to cover everything so that you don't have to leave a bunch of questions in the comments? But
no, it's with the newborn, it's been you know, interesting, because I think you had mentioned earlier we use the small lights for us to try to get around. Well, you know, we've been there was a period of time where she was mixing up days and nights. We've really been trying to do well at making nighttime, having a good like nighttime routine and making nighttime different from daytime. So wanting to make sure we keep the lights low and keep the noise low at night, which has been a little bit challenging in this small space. So using those lights has been helpful. And then we've got her Hatch noise sound machine.
Yeah, we got everything. We've got the sound machine, the cameras. She's got her little.
Yeah, you'd think in a tiny
monitor
house, like
in there.
I could see her well enough, but she's very sneaky and like will be still, but her eyeballs will be open and she won't be sleeping. So we needed a monitor still to check on her at night, so I don't have to keep coming up and down the lofted bed to check all the time. But so yeah, and I think it's been. I mean, she's actually a pretty good sleeper, so I think it's worked really well. And if anything, maybe she's learning to sleep through a little bit of noise, maybe be a little deeper sleeper being in this small space with dogs barking and us moving around. But
Yeah,
I think we've been able to.
Overall, it hasn't been very difficult living in this tiny house. The animals are definitely the biggest pain in the butt out of everything. The cat likes to knock things off the counter, and then Bee likes to chew them up. Sam's an old dog, so she doesn't really get into trouble or do anything like that. But they track mud in. As you know, if you've been in North Carolina this winter, it's just raining nonstop, so there's constantly mud in there. And actually, this is a good segue to talk about the flooring. So the flooring is actually waterproof. It's waterproof vinyl that we put down. We got it for $1 a square foot when we were pricing out all of the tiny house stuff and getting materials. I found this at like a surplus warehouse that was near us, and they had this for $1 a square foot. It's rusticy. It hides mud well.
Yeah.
Even though we do clean it, we try to keep it clean in here with the Swiffer and the wet mop thing. So my arm is getting freaking tired because I don't have my tripod, but it works well. The flooring is good. We haven't had any issues with it. And then I guess before I forget, the trailer that we're actually on, if you saw the build videos, it's a old camper frame. So I got it for $1,500 off Facebook Marketplace. So the trailers for tiny houses are usually like $6-7 grand. So that obviously saved us a lot of money, and it works well. We've got it up on cinder blocks. It's not going anywhere, and it works really well. So I'm trying to think of anything else. Drinking water. We use bottled water just because we're just hooked up to a well, so we could put a filter on there if we wanted to, but we're just trying not to spend any extra money if we don't have to. So yep, drinking water. The shower water pressure's good. Yeah, electricity I just had one of our electrician buddies, he installed the house that we're staying at. He installed a 30 amp service on the outside of their house, just like a plug. So that cord runs here, hooks up to the outside of the tiny house, and we let the old landlords tell us how much we owe them in electricity, and we pay that. So the long-term goal here with this tiny house, we're either gonna sell it when our house is done, or we might make it into like an Airbnb type thing, or use it as an office for the business. But we built this keeping in mind that we weren't going to be in it long term. It's not very difficult to live in, but I think we've both realized that it's not really for us. Like, we wouldn't want to live in this full time. We could make it happen, but we just want a little bit more space, specifically because of the animals. But it's awesome not having a mortgage. So no mortgage. You could build one of these. You can buy this one if you want in a few months from now, and not have a mortgage and have no debt. So it's very, very good for that. I think
it's not as hard as I anticipated it being, especially with a newborn. And I feel like aside from the pets, not having space to run, and then therefore being a little bit destructive at times, I don't feel like we've sacrificed anything major. It's just we've taken everything and put it in a tinier form. But I think our day-to-day life, we have everything that we need.
And the reason we're here, you know, if you want to get a tiny house because you want to go get your own piece of property and do all that, make sure you do your research, because we didn't do enough research in the county that we're actually building in. Doesn't allow you to have any like mobile homes or RVs or tiny houses on a piece of property without a permanent dwelling already there. I think that's crazy. It's your property. You should be able to do what you want. But we are luckily had a friend that was generous enough to let us stay here in the neighboring county that allows it. So that's why we're here and we're not on our property. But it's worked out well because, you know, if we lose power, we run out of water, they've been gracious enough to, you know, tell us that we can come right in there. So, and they have another dog that B gets to play with because Sam's too old. So it's worked out well. But you know, overall, it works for us. Sometimes we do get in each other's space a little bit too much, and the stress can be frustrating. But overall, it works well. And I don't think I mentioned all the wall paneling. It's actually just paneling, so that's why you can see the seams. But that's from Lowe's. It looks good and it works well. So the beams, if you're wondering, they are not structural. They are just for looks. So there's a 2x4 running across. This one actually has wiring for the lights running through it, but the beams make it look a little bit nicer. So we thought we could have gone with an RV, but we wanted it to be a little bit more homey. So we decided to build it. It was actually my dad's idea to build this thing, but it works pretty well. We're enjoying it, and we'll be in it for a few more months. We've been in it for what, 3-4 months now?
4 and some change.
Yeah,
4.5.
4.5 months now. So nothing's broken down on us or anything like that. I mean, we built it pretty much like a regular house. So it's all 2x4 construction. Everything's 2 foot on center. It's insulated. I mean, it's a mini house on wheels. So, but they're getting kind of restless under there. So we're gonna let them out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If there's any like popular question that multiple people are asking that on something that we didn't cover, we can always make a follow-up video on that. But thank you guys for being patient. I know it took us forever to get this video out to you, but I hope that we answered your questions and kind of gave you the tour you were looking for. And yeah, this is the Lazy Lab Acres tiny house. So we will catch you guys on the next video. Probably be some house updates. I know I got a chicken video coming on the mobile setup. Once they get out of the backyard and I get them back out onto the grass, I'll show you guys, just so that we're not all up in their space. But I think that's it. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you on the next video. So see you guys.